we spoke about Dr. Ambarish Satwik. Now, he is a very important person. He's actually a Delhi-based vascular and endovascular surgeon, a writer, director at the Vascular Cath Lab at Sir Gangaram Hospital in New Delhi. Before I come to you, Dr. Satwik, I want to read out for the benefit of our viewers who have not gone through your tweet what you have actually said. He has questioned an outdated testing policy. He says, ICMR document on testing has not been updated since May the 18th. It has not been updated since then. We are smack bang in the middle of community transmission. Even a patient with symptoms of influenza-like illness, not residing in a containment zone and not a contact of a lab-confirmed case cannot get tested for COVID because of these guidelines. He says that the ICMR guidelines, and I feel this is very important, these guidelines are not commandments from a deity that are unalterable. So, Dr. Satwik, do you think that this is the reality as of this moment, that we are not, because we have not updated our policy, testing policy, and we see what is happening in Delhi right now, where even the existing testing is being underreported or is it going down? Do you feel that this is going to do us a lot of harm rather than good in trying to understand the magnitude of the spread of COVID-19? Dr. Satwik, can you hear me? Dr. Satwik, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to fix this audio connection with Dr. Satwik, who is not being able to hear us. But let's quickly take a look at another set of graphics which we have prepared from his thread, the tweet thread, which is very significant. He says, busy hospitals and labs are being probed for testing asymptomatic cases. Hospitals have to be allowed COVID testing prior to admission for any ailment. And you can't just probe them. It is not right. He then says, allow COVID testing to determine where to treat these patients, COVID ward or COVID-free area. See, because a lot of people are saying that this could in fact lead to cross-infections, that a person who's non-COVID goes there and then contracts this virus. He says hospitals are duty-bound to prevent COVID cross-infections. They cannot absolve themselves from the responsibility. Those sick enough to be admitted for other conditions in the middle of the pandemic are most vulnerable. Dr. Satwik is now back with us. Dr. Satwik, do you feel that an attempt, because of these outdated guidelines, a situation has arisen where we are not reporting enough cases because we are not testing enough?
Yes, that's entirely possible, because hospitals are not allowed to test as many cases as they would have wanted to, particularly now that some hospitals have been barred from testing asymptomatic cases and they're being probed and not allowed to test any cases, because from what I hear last, my hospital, so Gangaram Hospital, currently is not allowed to test because they're probing the matter.
Dr. Satwik, this point that you make about outdated testing policies, what in your opinion could be the reason why this is being done? Just plain simple complacency or an attempt to downplay the COVID-19 infection numbers? Either way, it's counterproductive.
Yes, it is. I'm not entirely sure what the reasons are, but clearly if you don't test enough, you won't get any positives. So as you would have noticed, the test results today, the positive cases would be much lower than what you've been seeing over the past 3 or 4 days.
Dr. Satwik, you've seen this, I would call it mess, not just in the national capital, but everywhere else, where there are investigations against, laboratories for carrying out these tests at a time when we should be testing more. We are actually testing less. How do you look at this?
That's right. At this point, I think basically we should be testing at will. Clearly, the ICMR guidelines need to be updated. And look, this is a fluid situation. Everything seems to be changing every other day. You can't function on guidelines that were written about 20 days ago or more. And more importantly, these are guidelines. Hospitals who are actually treating COVID patients should have the discretionary capacity to order tests and carry out tests when required. I don't think there's any point in preventing hospitals from testing. That's entirely counterproductive.
All right, Dr. Satwik, appreciate you joining us. And I think your tweets, the thread was an eye-opener. Hopefully, we should get a response from the government on what you seem to be highlighting. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say that,
sure, you were saying something.
I'd just like to say that it's of particular importance in surgical patients, because I've cited a paper where the complications and the mortality rates in patients who are being subjected to surgery, if they're COVID positive, are very high. So it's almost irrefutable evidence in favor of almost mandatory preoperative testing in surgical cases. That should be absolutely essential.
All right. Dr. Satwik, many thanks for joining us and sharing your views.
Thank you for having me.
I want to introduce my other panelists now very quickly on a very important issue. And let me read that out first. What the centre has said in an affidavit which it has filed in the top court. Before I go to my guess, let's set this up for you. So the government says there is a plea on providing alternate accommodation for health workers. The government says Hospital Infection Control Committee responsible for implementing infection prevention and control activities for healthcare workers. But then comes the most important point. And then you ask yourself that where does the final responsibility lie? So the government says final responsibility lies with the healthcare workers to prevent infection, to protect himself or herself not only from COVID but other infectious diseases also. All of this happening at a time, and the government gives a lot of figures. I'm not going to tell you half the story. The government does give a lot of figures on what they have done, the makeshift COVID-19 hospitals that have been prepared, many needed in the future, the production of PPE, stand adequately protected against any potential exposure, makeshift COVID-19 hospitals. They've given the exact number, 99.34 lakh PPE kits distributed and 123.08 lakh N95 masks distributed by the centre as on the 1st of June. Then why is there a need for the central government at a time when we are celebrating these doctors as gods, as corona warriors, to tell them that the final responsibility, if anything happens, is yours? Is that correct or is that wrong? That is going to be an issue of debate at this moment. I have Dr. Anil Handu, Dr. S.K. Sareen, who is the Director ILBS and Chairman of the Delhi Government's panel on COVID-19, Sangeeta Reddy, Executive Director, Apollo Hospital Group. I also have Lalita Kumaramangalam, member of the India Foundation and member of the BJP, and Supriya Shinate, national spokesperson of the Congress Party. Thank you so much, all of you all, for joining us. Let me first begin with you, Dr. Sareen. What do you make of this affidavit that has been filed in the court?
Well, I think there are two issues. One, what Dr. Swastik said, and the other, the Supreme Court. And I think both clearly show that the country has to follow someone. In one case, it is the ICMR guidelines, and in the second case, the Government of India guidelines. All of us want to do differently, but when you go to a war, the whole nation follows a commander. So that is the actual precise way we have to follow the orders. However, when you say that the ultimate responsibility lies on the doctor or the healthcare professional, I think there are 5 or 6 things which are very clear from a healthcare professional. He wants to be heard, he wants to be prepared, he wants to be taken care of, and he wants to be recognized. Hear me means the doctor says, look, you have to understand I'm working under stress. Prepare me means that the guy has to be trained enough so that he can handle that kind of an infectious environment. Care for me means that, well, I need a bed, I need food, I need housing, I need lodging. And of course, recognizing me, like you said, the warriors, I call it Dev Tulya Abhinandan. They are like Dev Tulya people. So when the society sometimes does not accept these people, they are not allowed to go home, their families are captives, then everything cannot fall on the government. So I'm saying the society has to change, whether it was Correct. Boris Johnson or it was Elizabeth, anybody, the doctors were the ones, they are the front workers.
Correct.
So when the society recognizes their contribution, I think we should see As far as the government's directive in the Supreme Court, I think the doctors can only wear a mask. They can have a PPE. And N95 means you're 95% protected. So they are given in adequate time. What we need is an adequate training. We should have ETC centers, education, testing, training center in every hospital.
Correct.
And that hospital should train everybody so that you know how to don, how to go off these things. So I think there are nothing wrong in the government saying the responsibility is there. But in case there is somebody who gets infected, or there is a fear in his mind, we should allay that fear.
Okay.
We should protect that
So
person,
that
and
fear
of
has
course
to be
his
allayed.
family.
Fair enough. I get that point. Supriya
Yes.
Srinate, I want to come to you. Do you feel that this is much ado about nothing? The responsibility ultimately will be yours. A doctor has to stay protected. But do you think doctors would not know this? Because this affidavit almost makes it appear as if we're doing as much as we can. After that, fend for yourself.
Sanket, quite frankly, I say this with utmost respect. When I first saw the news item, I thought the government had been misquoted. The government that made us all stand and applaud our medical staff, our medical community, our frontline doctors, today tells the court they're actually on their own. Ultimately they are responsible for them. It's almost saying that the patients are responsible for their own recovery. I mean, I don't want to use harsh words. I don't want to make it partisan, but I'm married into a family of doctors. Some of my closest friends are doctors. And so I will say this with all the responsibility bestowed on me, that there is a certain amount of apathy, insensitivity, I also think recklessness, and may I say hypocrisy in the statement that the government is making. There are numerous instances that I can quote, and I don't want to waste our viewers' times on how doctors were shunted out of hospitals because they procured PPE kits when they were not available. Journalists were dealt with legal ways when they reported on substandard PPE kits in states like Uttar Pradesh. There have been PPE scams across some states, and I'm not going to name a certain party or not, but the reality is that our frontline warriors need our faith. They need
many
our
protests
confidence.
also happening. There are protests by doctors.
Ahmedabad till 5 days back, 50 doctors in Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel
AIMS. There are protests in AIMS as well.
And AIMS, just 4 days back, 50 doctors have been found positive. So instead of telling them that we stand rock solid behind you and we are going to provide you with everything, the reality is we are almost shirking our responsibility. The government is almost shirking its responsibility, turning a blind eye to their plight. And I will just add one more thing.
Yeah.
I know I'm reaching time here, but I will add one more thing. The new guidelines almost seem, at least in Delhi, the ones that I'm reading, almost seem to be masking infections. I mean, they are now saying that asymptomatic cases, even in a family of a positive patient,
Correct.
will not be tested unless there are comorbidities. And please understand one thing, the doctor is not just putting his or her own line in the line
But
of fire.
my problem over here, Supriya, while you say all of this, and I one moment, Supriya, while I agree with what you're saying, right, that we have to respect the frontline warriors, and any word that is used loosely, and I call this a loose use of words, that ultimately responsibility is yours, is wrong. Exactly how things that happened at the KEM hospital were also wrong. In Maharashtra, in the KEM hospital, where a circular sought explanation from interns for getting infected, circular warned of action if negligence is found. They said increased number of interns getting quarantined due to exposure. And then ultimately they had to withdraw the circular after a lot of noise and outreach.
Sanket, I am not defending the position where doctors are being meted out with bad treatment. Under no circumstances across no state. If it's happening in a coalition government where we are partners,
No, that's what I'm saying. Since you mentioned UP, I think this too should be mentioned. This is happening in Maharashtra also. All governments are doing it.
That we are unilaterally putting doctors in the line of fire without giving them the confidence or the respect that they deserve. That's the least we can do.
Correct. Sangeeta Reddy as well as Dr. Anil Handu. First of all, I want to come to you, Sangeeta Reddy. You've heard this debate. You've heard the issue of testing, this controversy that is happening in the national capital, in other pockets as well. I want to know from you, as the executive director of the Apollo Hospital Group, the role of the private players. That has been questioned a lot. Beds allocation, the larger picture. How do you look at this? The management, COVID management.
So I want to say to all of us as a country that the problem is significant. and this is a time for us to creatively find solutions together. These artificial divides between public and private, these conversations, where people are in the front line, we need to be able to focus on training, on, adding new beds. Every day we're trying to add new beds. And I'm talking about Apollo where, we've already committed. We currently have 650 beds operational. We've committed up to 1,000 beds. We're trying to add every day. The war is real. They are coordination problems and patients not knowing where to go. We have to solve that. They are morale and fear problems in the face of individual doctors and nurses, and we definitely need to support them. I appreciate the fact that all governments are trying to do something, but I think that collectively we can do a lot more. So the difference between central government, each state government having different regulations, each one trying to fend for themselves is not required. So I think it's time for us to once again say that, on many fronts we've done good things. It's time to improve areas which are dropping, but then be collectively responsible for these next steps.
But Ms. Reddy, what I notice is that on the 24th of March or in March, I think there was far more coordination between the center and the state, between private, public, all sorts of coordination that we actually saw was happening more in March, April. It's only now when the cases are increasing where we see a lot of division. Do you think this is unfortunate? For instance, we are talking about supporting doctors. Here is All India Institute of Medical Sciences that has got 480 workers testing positive, 54 sanitation staff, 4 lab technicians, OT staff, all of them, 14 lab technicians, sorry, all of them testing positive. And then a circular which says, ultimately the responsibility is yours.
So I haven't seen the circular and I can't comment on the compulsions behind it. But it is an inarguable fact that we need to support our frontline healthcare workers. The pressure is getting higher as the number of cases go higher. It's time for us to stay stronger, coordinate better, and continue to be very sensitive to the needs and the fears of our patients and public. So I just want to say that let's continue to work together. Let's not, try to create or highlight any of the divides, but proactively reach out to each other. Like after yesterday's, I think there was a really important show that one of you had. I reached out to that health minister and said, what can we do? I think that today we have to talk to Delhi government and say, can we do a central call number? FICCI created a call number after one of your shows where we said non-COVID patients were not finding where they could go. This was about a month ago. We can do the same. One of our sponsors gave that call center free. Let's move into action, and every day, maybe based on feedback from all of you, because I think the media is doing a tremendous job gathering feedback. Let's quickly find out what can we correct, what can we improve.
I absolutely agree. This is the time for coordination. But I would slightly disagree when you say that do not highlight. I think
I'm saying you must highlight. Sorry, maybe it came out wrong. What I meant is we must highlight, but highlight from a now. How can we correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Or tomorrow morning.
Oh, absolutely. The intention is noble. The idea is to make a positive impact.
And
absolutely.
Everybody has good intentions. The main thing, I think everybody wants to help. Let's continuously keep coordinating so that we can help more patients.
Correct. More coordination is the message coming from Sangeeta Reddy. I absolutely agree with you. I have Lalita Kumaramangalam also. But before I come to you, Dr. Anil Handu, you are Director Pathology at the Nanavati Hospital and BLK Delhi. I want to know from you, Dr. Handu, this entire talk of testing. Are we testing more or testing less or testing enough, or our testing is outdated or updated? Where do you stand on this issue? Because if we have reached community transmission, as we were told by Dr. Satwik, we are in a very advanced stage, then we have to test more. There is no alternative to advanced levels of testing.
So, Sanket, I agree with what Dr. Satwik said, and I would also agree with what you just mentioned, that testing is what we need to really work on. We need to test, and that's what is going to change the scenario. If we look at anybody across the world, who have actually looked at dealing with these cases, they have always gone ahead and tested. Eventually, everybody has gone across and tested. Look at South Korea, look at Italy, look at, say, for instance, United States of America. The number of tests that are being done is increasing by each passing day. And what is happening in our country now, we are actually restricting tests by ensuring that, the strictest measures are taken with respect to the tests that can be allowed to be done. I'm sure there must be reasons for people to have taken such an action, but at the same time, on the ground reality, one needs to realize that the number of cases is increasing by the day. Just to give you an example, when we started testing about 1.5 months back, the positive percentages would be just about 1% or so. We have reached a state where today we almost have about 30% positivity. So it is not that it's just coming out of the blue, and it's not that the testing systems are wrong or the tests are not that being done appropriately. We need to understand a lot of people who are actually doing testing have a lot of expertise in this area, and they are, in fact, some of them were doing testing even before COVID started. Molecular testing is a high-end technique, and it's not that people who are doing testing in this area are novices. A lot of them are actually knowing the testing very, very well. So what is important is allowing testing to be done at will. That's what Dr. Satwik also said, and I would second that completely. More importantly, in a hospital-based setting, it's extremely important to ensure that the testing is done prior to the surgery. Otherwise, how do you
Dr. Sareen, you heard what Dr. Handu had to say. You are an advisor to the chairman of the Delhi government's panel on COVID-19. I want to ask your opinion on this issue, because the Delhi government has drawn a lot of flack on this issue of testing. Where do you stand on this issue? Testing in Delhi,
the government
the allegation is has actually gone down.
No, we are testing about 11,000 tests a day. It's probably much more than any other state given per million people. But what is actually needed is that we need to follow some guidelines, and the ICMR has very strictly set these guidelines. So I don't think the government in any way has defied or can change it. Yes, I agree on two things. One, that any patient who is going to a hospital is for surgery or a major procedure must definitely be tested.
Okay.
And because he will become a hotspot, he can spread it to others. Correct. Secondly, if the healthcare workers feel uncomfortable, they feel that they have been exposed. Despite all that, we have to reassure them, they are the front line. You can't go to a battle with bare chest. You have to have all the armamentarium. And the ladies, like the lady with a lamp, the nurses, they are so worried. So we have to prepare them, we have to protect them, we have to assure them.
Correct.
So if these people want tests to be done, I think there is nothing wrong in
nothing wrong in those tests. Lalitha Kumaramangalam, I want to come to you quickly. Sorry, we couldn't have you earlier on the show for reasons I will find out why. But Lalitha Kumaramangalam, the point is, when the center files an affidavit saying that the final responsibility lies with the healthcare workers, fine, the final responsibility of taking care lies with all of us. It's a given. But do you think when the government says or writes a statement like this in the court, does this send out a very positive message to the corona warriors who are struggling?
Sanket, I apologize. That's not a statement that comes out sounding very reasonable to anybody who's at the forefront of this fight. I'm not, and I'm supposed to be high risk, and I know how scared I am. So I don't think it was very kind of whoever was this person who made this statement, even though they probably didn't mean it in a bad way. I think the wording should not have been that. Now, while I agree that every adult ultimately has responsibility for their own health, the nurses, the doctors, the paramedical staff, etc., who are in the forefront of fighting this disease, they are under enormous stress. Now, as a community, as a government, as everybody, we need to be very, very empathetic towards them. I don't think they need sympathy. What they need is understanding, support, and empathy. I think that apart from, I'm sure that Dr. Reddy and Dr. Handu, everybody else has given very good points. I'm not going to repeat those. But I think what our frontline workers, our warriors, COVID warriors, also need is some psychological stress counseling. They have an enormous amount to bear. They are facing patients who may be asymptomatic and passing on the infection to them. every doctor, I think, needs PPE. Not just those who are working specifically in the
So
COVID
every
wards
doctor
or the
has
COVID
PPE. The
hospitals.
problem is that they're complaining about its quality, they're complaining about its availability.
Yes.
All
Now, the
things things
quality-
are a subject matter of
quality,
concern. And then
etc.,
when
I
statements
think there
like these
should be
come
more
out, they don't
coordination.
send a really positive message on behalf of the government. Surely people have to take their own responsibility. But I guess at best what we can say is these words could have been avoided by the central government. Stopping for a short break at this moment. When we come back, we'll get you that exclusive interview. Thank you very much to all our panelists. When we come back, we'll get you an exclusive conversation with two people who have become the talk of the town. They're a water cooler conversation. They are every drawing room conversation. Inspector Hathiram Chaudhary and Hathoda Tyagi from the very famous internet series Patal Lok. That discussion up next.